It's no secret that I have a deep love for Eastern games, so when Where Winds Meet landed on my radar this past year, I was definitely intrigued. An ARPG with MMO-ish things, Wuxia game set in ancient China, beautiful character design, martial arts combat, open world exploration, and it's made by Eastern devs. Sign me up. When I saw that it was free to play, I got a little nervous. We all know how that can go, but I was glad to learn that the monetization isn't paying for power, no gameplay content locked behind paywalls. The gacha is pretty much all cosmetic focused, and there is a battle pass system with some progression perks, but the entire core experience is completely free. And after I learned that, my tune changed from this is free to play to this is free to play. Fast forward through this past week, in the evenings, I'd sit down, snack in hand, thinking I'd play for an hour or two, and next thing I would know, it would be midnight, and I'd still be going. Now, I am not a young NPC anymore. I knew my sleep schedule would have regrets, but I didn't. I just couldn't put it down because of how many different things were begging for my attention. Unique boss fights, likable characters, co-op, fun and fluid combat where I am literally flying through the air and defying gravity, a gorgeous open world where I can just ride my horse around for hours if I want, and just beauty everywhere. The world, the NPCs, the ethereal character I made, obviously, and for me, it genuinely feels like they truly cared about making something fun. It might not be perfect, we'll talk about that, but the care really comes through. So thank you so much to Everstone Studio for partnering with me on this video and letting me really dig into this world. Let's dive in. Okay, so first I need to tell you about something that genuinely blew my mind, and that was the absolute love given to the background NPCs in this game. You know the ones just standing around, the blacksmith hammering on the same spot on the anvil for eternity, the guard who says, "I used to be an adventurer like you," in the exact same tone 47 times. Well, in Where Winds Meet, you can actually type to some of them. Like, physically type whatever you want, and they just respond to what you say like actual people. And I know what you were thinking, because I was too. That can't possibly work well, right? But it does. I was actually kind of surprised by how much I liked this feature. It is super fun to just have normal conversations with random people you meet in the game. Honestly, I feel like it is kind of revolutionary, but you let me know if I am forgetting another game that has done this before. For example, I was talking to this NPC who had a bandit problem, and instead of getting a quest marker that just said, "Go kill 10 bandits," we just started strategizing. What if he fake arrested me and brought me in as a prisoner to gain their trust? We workshopped the whole plan, my disguise, how we would sell it, the signal for when to strike. By the end, we'd become buddies. Or I was chatting with this hunter who said he had been framed for something. Again, we were strategizing how to exonerate him. Then somehow we ended up talking about Disney World. He wanted to go, so naturally I had to warn him about Disney adults. And we had this whole conversation about whether or not he was a Disney adult and what that even means. At the end, he thanked me for the warning and said he didn't want to go anymore. What? I had just docked an NPC out of a vacation. The fact that this game just lets this happen though is pretty wild. Chatting with all of these characters though, you know what it reminds me of?
Do you know anything?
Yeah, it's kind of like that, except instead of chatting with a mysterious diary that is definitely not evil, I am having a full conversation with characters about bandit heists and their problems. It is significantly less cursed, for the most part, but equally as captivating. And sometimes the NPCs will start sending you gifts. The more you talk to people, the deeper your relationships get. They unlock unique quests or give you perks. The game rewards you for caring about people, which, of course, that is what hooked me. Of course it is. I love a gifting system, okay? And I may or may not be taking screenshots of gifts NPCs have sent me. I might be building a folder of them now, but I am fine. That's fine. And with all this talk about the NPCs, we have to talk about how pretty this game is. Like, actually stunning to look at. I walked into my first village and just stopped. Sunlight was filtering through the trees, and there was this character in flowing robes, and I thought, all right, well, this must be a main quest NPC or someone super special, right? They're supposed to look good. But then I kept exploring, and so many characters look like this. The quest-giving characters, the random townspeople just going about their day. I am walking through villages, just staring at people, looking respectfully. And when you put them alongside characters in certain Western full-priced games, you get millions of dollars spent on characters that look like, well, that. But this free game, they made sure to include attractive characters. And on top of that, every costume tells a story. You can see where they're from, what they do. You can tell someone probably spent weeks designing these outfits. And there are so many specific historically inspired designs, and clearly a lot of effort and respect was put into this. And for your own character, you can make someone just as beautiful. I spent an embarrassing amount of time in the character creator, and I will be spending even more in the future. Still some adjustments to make, but it was such a refreshing feeling to load into the creator and immediately be captivated by every single base character design, even though Western localizers blessed us with their signature body type 1 and body type 2 options. It actually was difficult to choose which base model to start with, and I didn't have to download 5 mods. No hunting down Reddit tutorials at 2 a.m. while questioning my life choices. Just a really solid character creator with so many options. Beautiful, rugged, magical, or whatever these are. Anything your heart desires, really. They put real effort into this. No laziness, no lecture on what your character should look like. They just built it, gave us all the tools we could want, and said, go wild. Beyond all of the character love, the combat is a ton of fun too. To drop a bit of NPC lore on you, my first introduction to the Wuxia genre happened on a high school field trip. One of my friends kept telling me about this movie she wanted to show me on the bus ride. Of course, it ended up being the all-time classic Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I do not remember anything else about that trip that day, but I do remember sitting there on the bus, watching the movie on her phone and being completely absorbed in my first Wuxia experience. I can confidently say, at least from my memory, this game captures that vibe really, really well. Fluid Wuxia combat, diving into enemies or pulling them to you from afar, disarming them. They even have this Tai Chi mechanic where you can throw whoever you're fighting as they try to attack you, including bears. It is there when you nail a parry, and the movement is everywhere. Triple jumps, wall running, gliding around. They just made this for people who love that Wuxia fantasy. Flying through the air, defying physics, and it is a lot of fun. If you've ever played games like Ghost of Tsushima, Assassin's Creed, Elden Ring, ESO, you will see bits and pieces of them in here, and while it might not be quite as polished as some of those games, it is more polished than some of the $70 games we have gotten these past few years, which hopefully puts some much needed pressure on the quality that should be expected from AAA, and rightfully so. Because why would somebody spend that much money on a broken game when free alternatives like this exist that actually work? And here's what's really cool. You can actually play this completely solo if you want, or jump into the more MMO-esque stuff when you feel like it. I have been playing mostly solo, just exploring, talking to NPCs, doing my own thing. But I did turn on the feature and will sometimes see other players running around in towns, and it is nice. Like the world feels alive, but nobody is forcing me to group up or be social unless I want to. And the game really is whatever you make it. You want to be in the weeds with all the lore, going deep on every detail, piecing together mysteries, talking to every NPC for hours? You can do that. You want to ignore all of that and just vibe on your horse, fighting every enemy you see? That's also completely valid. You can grind as much or as little as you want. Last night, I spent hours just trying to beat this one boss, perfecting my timing. Night before that, I just rode my horse through the forest. I stopped to chat with some villagers, watched the sunset. It was very peaceful. Oh, and did I mention that you can build too? Yeah, apparently there is a whole construction system where you can create your own spaces. To be honest, I haven't really dived deep into that yet, but knowing that I can is very exciting. And I think what makes all of this work is just how ambitious this game is. Full story campaign, open world exploration, deep combat system, building mechanics, that whole NPC conversation system, co-op, solo play, PvP. It is a lot of game, and there is genuinely a ton to do. Things can also get a bit more unhinged too, because while I've been over here playing mostly solo, having my very peaceful little roleplay moments, I have seen people on social media join this cult that runs around in bath towels, just bath towels. That is their whole thing. I saw someone lower their prison sentence time by traveling around in a horse-drawn jail cell while other players threw food and items at them, like a medieval stock situation, but I guess make it multiplayer. Oh, and someone turned into a dog and then played mahjong with a group of other dogs. Just a table full of dogs playing mahjong. Everything is valid and everything is encouraged. The game just gives you the tools and basically lets you do whatever you want. All right, real talk time. This game throws a lot at you. I have no problem admitting that I am sometimes the definition of the very stereotypical girl gamer, and the UI is a lot, I won't lie. I was a bit overwhelmed at times. There are lots of menus, lots of mechanics, so many different interfaces. I would click on something thinking I was going to the character stats and then somehow end up in the shop. But I will say it has gotten easier with time, and I am starting to learn my way around and get the hang of it. Also for me, the bugs seem to be actually super rare. I don't think I've really experienced many myself, except for maybe a few out of place dead bodies and a side quest puzzle where it seemed like I couldn't interact with the object that I felt like I was supposed to. I should mention I do have a pretty beefy PC now, so your experience might vary depending on your setup, but from what I have seen and heard, the optimization is actually pretty solid. No hiccups on my end, and for a free-to-play game in the Big 2.5, that is saying something. Which brings us to the free-to-play. I know. We all get nervous when we hear that, but hear me out. Like I said at the start of the video, the entire story, all of the content is all completely free. The gacha is all cosmetic focused. This is not a pay to win game. It is more like a pay for beauty or pay for convenience if you want it, but it is completely optional. Similar to other games, there is a battle pass that gives you some resources to speed things up and does include cosmetics that won't come back. So there is a bit of FOMO there, but you can experience pretty much everything else without ever spending a dime. And for someone who is a sucker for cosmetics, me, they are genuinely really beautiful with intricate embroidery and historically inspired designs. Even the free stuff you earn just from playing looks really good, and I genuinely do want them. Not because the game pressures me, but because they are so pretty. Everstone created something really special with this game. There is some really cool stuff in here and choices that I haven't seen much of in other games, and playing through this has made me think about what I actually want from games. Because when every system and mechanic feels like it was built with care and respect, it becomes painfully obvious when that is missing from other games trying to take the spotlight in recent years. You can really tell which games are made for players and which are made for other reasons. I will just keep saying it. I am really excited about what is coming out of the East right now and where it's going, because if this is what free-to-play looks like, if this is the direction Eastern devs are headed, that is honestly crazy. It's wild that they managed to do this for free, and if one studio can make it work, it sets a new bar for what free-to-play should look like. Success always breeds success, and if there are multiple actual good games to choose from that are free, who is winning? We are. I just want more options like this. More games, free or paid, that actually respect players. Whether it is this game or others leading the way, I am here for it. Games like this show what happens when developers build with passion instead of contempt and disrespect. When they trust us to make our own choices and actually prioritize fun. That is when gaming feels alive again. Beautiful worlds to explore, characters who remember us, incredibly fun combat and movement, real moments of joy and discovery. And it didn't cost $70 to get here. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. The game is out now and is completely free on PC and PS5. The link is in the description below. And let me know if you're playing. What parts are you enjoying the most? And please tell me your favorite NPC. I need to know who everyone is getting attached to because I'm very curious if it is the same ones as me. Thank you again to Everstone Studio for partnering with me on this video. It has been so much fun. Thanks again for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.